Hello.
Then. Now.
Countdown to the queens.
Episode number 500.
Forever.
Looks like hell throws over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Hello, welcome to episode number 118, I believe, 118 of the TEW IX Challenge Run. We are here for SmackDown Friday, the 7th of March, 2025. It's been like 2 weeks since Roadblock went up, but, you know, a combination of being busy when I'm not busy, I've been doing other stuff, so, you know, we're here. But, yeah, the slow slog towards WrestleMania. Apparently I've slowed down on the road to WrestleMania, which is, you know, not ideal, but we'll get there. We're already weeks late, so we've still got like 7 weeks in game to go as well. But, you know, hopefully it'll all be worth it. But we are coming off Roadblock where, on the SmackDown side of things, we now know our main event from the for night one, the Women's World Championship match, as Utami Hayashi does defend against Io Sky, the Women's Royal Rumble winner. And we had, you know, a big controversial ending of the pay-per-view with a shocking, well, I guess shocking betrayal, but not really. But Candice LeRae will be opening up the show to address the actions at the end of Roadblock. Plus tonight we have a 6-man, or 12-man, I guess, tag team main event as Randy Orton and Ilya Dragunov team with the Motor Machine Guns and with the Revolution against the Hurt Business and Pretty Deadly. We have... what other match? Oh, a Women's Tag Team Championship match, Charlotte and Ariana Grace against New Millennium. And there was a third match that we definitely announced for this show. I can't remember what it is because it's been a long time since I recorded an episode of SmackDown. Oh, it's Swerve, Andrade, and Angel Garza against Drew and 2 partners of his choosing. So yeah, without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. The show does kick off. Candice LeRae comes to the ring. No theme music, you know. She's getting the old Tommaso Ciampa boos as her entrance music thing. And, yeah. She comes down, she takes a steel chair, she takes a seat in the middle of the ring. She's got a microphone in her hand. And she goes, well, you know, for the first time, I feel like I actually should come out here and give you guys an explanation as to what happened at Raw. Because for the first time, I did something bad at Roadblock. Okay, every other thing I've done up until now has been perfectly fine. Everything I've done up until now has been justified. But that includes Roadblock. But you guys are also blinded by Dakota and her love for you and your love for her that I feel like you people aren't going to see where I'm coming from. But it's not something I ever wanted to do. In fact, I was hoping to God this day would never come. But it did on Saturday night. Last Saturday night. You see, all I've ever wanted was the betterment of this division was to keep Io and her tyranny off the top spot. That's how we even got here in the first place. But sometimes to do the right thing, you have to do the wrong thing. And on Saturday night, a lot of you think I did the wrong thing. On Saturday night, I had the opportunity to end this. I had the opportunity to end Io. But I couldn't get it done because Dakota overstepped her boundaries as our special guest referee in a match where she wasn't even supposed to be overstepping her boundaries in because it was unsanctioned. So she was just there to count the fall, but that's neither here nor there. And then, after the match, I look up at the video at the end of the show and I see that while I was knocked out, I see Dakota and Io shaking hands in the middle of the ring, and in that moment, it all started to make sense to me. You see, I've never been in the wrong. I've always done what's right. You don't like it because you all forgave Io at the drop of a hat. But what? Because she comes out and she does cool moves and she's fighting other wrestlers that you don't like. But I don't forgive. I remember everything that Io did when she was the champion. And trust me when I say this, Io, you will not be back on top of SmackDown as long as I'm around. So good luck at WrestleMania, I guess. But Dakota, my best friend, my favorite woman in the whole wide world, I'm sorry that it had to happen this way, but I should have seen it coming. You know, our entire friendship was built off a lie. So I should have been able to see it coming, but I truly thought you were better than that. I truly thought that you stood for what I stood for. But I guess not. I guess in your mind, doing the right thing is handing power back to an evil rule. I guess in your mind, doing the right thing is making sure these people cheer you on as you help their favorite girl go to WrestleMania. But that's not what my view of the right thing is. I truly hope, Dakota, you learned your lesson. And maybe I can forgive you. But it's finally dawned on me that all these months, when I was trying to do what was best for us, you only cared about what was best for you. And what's best for you is, I guess, having the championship back on Io because you think you beat Io at WrestleMania last year, so surely you'll get to beat her again if she wins the championship back. Or something along those lines. Or your selfish vendetta to get the championship off of Utami because she cashed in on you in your home country. Well, boo-hoo, things like that happen. Okay, there's gonna be casualties when doing things for justice. And I thought you were like me, prepared to take one on the chin to do what's right because I did. It should have been me. It could have been me at WrestleMania 40 last year, Dakota, defeating Io for the Women's World Championship. But it wasn't. Do you know why it wasn't me? Because it was you. It needed to be you, and I understood that. I understood that for what was right, I had to take a step aside. And I forfeited that gauntlet match for you, to get you that opportunity. And you pissed it all away, and now you're looking to hand the opportunities back and send us back to square one. To which I have to ask, were we ever really friends? Well, I mean, I know I was yours. I cared so deeply for you, but were you ever really mine? Or did you just keep me around as some sort of useful idiot, and then once I started start doing my own thing and going against your way of thinking, all of a sudden you were tired and sick and tired of me and you wanted me away. But guess what? Fine. Have it your way. You and I, we're through. And now, because of you and your emotions and your morally virtuous doing it the right way, we have to sit back and watch Io once again main event WrestleMania, maybe get back that Women's World Championship, and then what? How do you plan to get it back then, huh? Because you haven't got me. Io's not gonna fall for your little tricks twice. We're stuck in the Dark Ages unless I do something about it. But let this be your final warning. I did what I did at Roadblock because I had to do what I did at Roadblock. I still love you. And you can still come to your senses. Next time, I won't be so sorry. She drops the microphone and she just walks to the back. You know, still no music, just like hair's a mess, you know. She's been through it. Like, she hasn't slept in a week. And she just storms all the way to the back, and then we follow her to the back, like the camera follows her. And Johnny Gargano's in the gorilla waiting. And he goes, Candice, you're there, you're okay, you know. Quill and I, we've been worried about you for a week. You've not been home. I've been trying to call, and you've not been picking up. And like this whole time, he's like trying to get through to her, but she just like keeps walking straight ahead, like just completely blanking him as she just storms into her own locker room and like locks the door. And Johnny's like, Candice, like starts knocking on the door, going, "Come on, open up." But no, she's not doing it. '89 rated opening match for the Women's Tag Team Championships. It's New Millennium. They're coming off their defense against Billy and Kelly at Roadblock. And they're taking on Charlotte and Ariana Grace here, the Royal Dynasty. Nova Nebula is with them at ringside. And, you know, for whatever reason, you know, she doesn't even really like these two, but she's here tonight, and she actually gets involved in the match. She attacks Charlotte on the outside, takes her out, which, you know, allows for Roxy to pin Ariana with the Pop Rocks, make defense number 6 of the Women's Tag Team Championships for New Millennium. 81 for Cora Jade, 89 for Roxy, 68 for Ariana, and 87 for Charlotte. So yeah, another defense of the Tag Team Championships for New Millennium as they roll on. But Nova getting herself involved in this match here, you know, taking out Charlotte during the fight. We then cut to the GM's office, and Sami Zayn's in there with Adam Pearce. And Pearce goes, "Sami, I know exactly why you're here." He goes, "Adam, I promise I won't take up too much of your time. I'm just, you know, I'm assuming, you know, everything with Jacob is all sorted." And Jacob and Pearce like, "Yeah, it is official. Jacob Fatu is now a member of the ECW roster." Sami goes, "Great, you know, Jacob truly deserved that victory. You know, he dominated that Iron Survivor Challenge. And for a minute there, I was really worried that my shot at WrestleMania had faded away, Adam, but it didn't. Because Jacob, he chose to face Warden for the ECW Championship, and Seth, he chose to face CM Punk, which means the last time I checked, there's nobody fighting for that World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. And I'm telling you, Adam, I won't let you down. I know I've been a little bit annoying over the past few weeks, basically begging for this title opportunity, but I truly believe one more shot is all I need to get it done." Pearce goes, "First of all, Sami, you're never annoying. You're always a blessing to be around. Second, I am aware with our World Heavyweight Champion is currently the only champion here on SmackDown, or the only World Champion here in WWE that is yet to have a WrestleMania opponent locked in, and we will figure out who will challenge the almighty Bobby Lashley for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania soon. And Sami, I promise you, I'll give you an opportunity to become the number one contender should the time arise." Sami goes, "Great, Adam. Again, sorry for taking up too much of your time. I won't let you down. I feel like I disappointed everybody by not winning the Iron Survivor Challenge. And this could be my last shot." And then come back to Kairi in her locker. Imagine the scene, she sat there sad, like, in like the locker room. Like, she sat in one of the lockers, and then either side of her you can just see an empty locker. One's got Asuka's name on it, one's got Ember Moon's name on it. She sort of just like looks around at the empty lockers, knowing that their deaths basically were on her hands. And Fatal Influence walk in and they're like, "Look who it is, it's Kairi, all alone." You know, I was watching last week, Ember Moon. She was going out there to try and become the Liberty Champion. She was trying to, you know, right the wrongs that Kairi can do, because, you know, Kairi wasn't good enough to become the champion. But I really thought Ember had it in her, but I guess Ember, when it comes to wrestling for the championships, is just like Kairi. She chokes. And, like, Kairi, like, barely, like, looks up at him like she's so sad. And then Fallon's like, "Really? Nothing? Nothing for that? Okay. Well, I know what. Kairi, you should just quit. You know, everything that Cammy said about you these past 6 months has been proven true. I mean, you are a loser. You don't really have what it takes to hang anymore. And you're just taking away spots on SmackDown that could go to girls like myself, like Zelina, like Aaliyah. Okay, and now all your friends are getting taken out one by one because of your ineptitude. When are you going to stop and realize that you're the issue here? And if you left, a lot of people's problems would just go away and vanish too." Then Io walks in. She sort of just stares down Fallon. Goes, "Oh, look who it is. It's the Great Protector. The Royal Rumble winner. The woman who's going to main event WrestleMania. We're not scared of you. In fact, we were hoping you were here, because what better way to make our mark in WrestleMania season than by beating the woman who's going to go on to challenge for the World Championship at WrestleMania. So tonight, you two could take on us, being her and Zelina, in tag team action. And Io goes, I'll see you out there. And Fatal Influence walk off. And Io just like looks down at the sad Kyrie. Kyrie looks up at her. Io like puts a hand on her shoulder. She goes, you'll be okay. You'll get it next time. Don't beat yourself up. Then cut to the ring. Swerve comes out, Angel Garza comes out, Andrade comes out for the 6-man tag team match. You know, Lord Bando's there doing the dance big time with Swerve. Now comes Drew. He's got a microphone in his hand. He goes, would you look who it is? It's Swerve Scott, the hero of SmackDown, and his weekly band of misfit friends coming together to stop Big Bad Drew McIntyre. Well, here's the thing, Swerve. When you lose to me and you lose this match tonight, when are you gonna, toss Angel and Andrade aside and say it's their fault? It's you who cost me that match against Drew McIntyre, not me. I'm perfect. I'm Swerve. I could never lose to Drew McIntyre. Because that's all you do, Swerve. Ever since you've been here in WWE, you pick and choose your friends, and you pick and choose when to drop them when it suits you best. First it was the Balor Club and the Vega Mafia. Then it was Hit Row. Hit Bro and all that. That was in there too. And most recently, it's these two. And outwalk Bronco Nima and Lucian Price. They stand side by side with Drew McIntyre. And Drew goes, all you did, your good friend, Lord Bando there, all he wanted to do was take a young, rising tag team from NXT and turn them into the next greatest tag team here on Friday Night SmackDown. That didn't quite go as well as they'd hoped, Swerve. Do you know why that is? It's because you belittled them every step of the way. Sure, they were losing matches, but they were rookies looking to find their feet, and all they got was abuse from you as you scapegoated them time and time again, telling your friend Bando that you didn't want them around because they weren't good enough to be in your orbit. And now look, Bronco Nima and Lucian Price, they've drawn the line with you, Swerve. And you can see Lord Bando's in the ring, so looking distraught, and Swerve's across him did you know about this? And he's going, no, I didn't, boss, I didn't. And he goes, that's right. You're not absolved from blame here either, you stupid dancing fool. These two men, from now on, march to the beat of their own drum, and not what you say they're gonna do, Swerve. It took them long enough to realize that maybe being in Swerve's house isn't worth the damn rent. But for now, myself and these two latest discarded friends of Swerve are gonna teach you a lesson the hard way. So you have Drew McIntyre and OTM against Swerve, Garza, and Andrade. Gets an 81, obviously adding in the OTM guys are going to drag the match rating down. But, yeah, they do pick up the win. I also had to keep people strong because, well, Swerve mainly, but because how wrestlers complaining on this game works is that, Swerve wouldn't complain if he was losing to Drew, but because Bronco and Lucian are on the team, even if Drew pinned Angel Garza, he'd still moan, so I had to keep him strong anyway. But yeah, Drew does pin Garza with a Claymore in 12-14. So yeah, Drew and the OTM boys pick up the win. 90 for Angel Garza, 82 for Andrade, 95 for Swerve, 40 for Price, 46 for Bronco, and a 78 for Drew. Big. But then cut back, we see Nova Nebula is talking with Nick Aldis. He goes, oh, great, I would love to make that happen. I've got to go speak to Pierce, and we'll see what we'll get back to you. And she goes, great, that sounds great, Adam. Or Nick, even. And then Cora and Roxy walk up, and Roxy's like, hey, thanks for helping us out there, it was good to... We had Charlotte and her little friend beat anyway, but it's nice to have you in our corner, supporting us. And Nova goes, I wasn't supporting you. Over these past few weeks, I've come to realize that maybe this antidote stuff, it's not for me. It's not working out for me. I came here tonight for 2 reasons. One, it's because I wanted to stick it to that Nepo baby washed up has-been Charlotte Flair. And the second was what I just did just now. Spoke to Nick Aldis. And ladies, I don't think we're going to be around each other much anymore because you're looking at the latest, newest, hottest new member of SmackDown. And Cole goes, I'm sorry, but you're leaving us? But did you not see what happened on Raw when Bayley and AJ? And he goes, yeah, I saw it. Looks like it's a tough situation for you girls. Have fun with it, though, because I'm gonna do my thing over here. Thanks. And she walks away. And Cora sort of looks across at Roxy, concerned. She goes, well, I didn't expect that. Not at all. And Roxy goes, yeah. But it's fine. We have her, too. And Cora goes, what, you mean her? Her? Is it finally time? And Roxy laughs and goes, I don't see any other choice. Unless you want to stay outnumbered. We then come back to Sami Zayn. Just walking through the hallway. And he bumps into MVP. MVP stops him. And Sami gets defensive. And he goes, relax. I'm not here for a kerfuffle. I'm here for just some words, Sami. Sami Zayn, I respect the hell out of you. When Ricochet and you went at it for that United States Championship, and Ricochet took your United States Championship, something inside me knew that wasn't it between us. Between Sami Zayn and the Hurt Business. And then you came swinging for the almighty Bobby Lashley's World Heavyweight Championship. That takes some guts, man. Some guts. And I understand that it's your desire to become the world champion again here in WWE. And I'm rooting for you. Sami Zayn, what an underdog story, getting 2 world championships under his belt. Nobody can deny him this next one. Which is why, Sami, on behalf of the Hurt Business and on behalf of the World Heavyweight Champion, the almighty Bobby Lashley, you still have time. You still have time to chase that high. Just don't do it at WrestleMania. The almighty Bobby Lashley's gonna smash you. The almighty Bobby Lashley's gonna break your heart and crush your dreams. And none of us want that, Sami. So, as someone who respects you, stay out of the almighty Bobby Lashley's way, and maybe one day you can be a world champion again. But cross paths with the almighty, dare I say, piss off the almighty, and we'll make sure it never happens. Good chat. And he just gets up and walks away. And Sami's over and sits there weird. 88 rated tag match. Big Io and Kyrie pick up the victory. They defeat Fatal Influence. That being Fallon Henley and Zelina Vega. Kyrie pins Fallon with the Insane. I'll actually imagine that Io hits the moonsault on her. And then tags Kyrie in to get Kyrie to get the pin. To boost her morale after her recent defeats. Like a good friend. 92 for Io, 78 for Kyrie, 71 for Zelina, 67 for Fallon. But yeah, Io and Kyrie, Sky Pirates victory here on SmackDown. After the match, Kyrie, she still looks a little bit defeated. You can still see something's playing on her mind. And obviously we know what it is. It's the fact that all of her friends are getting I'm going to say the word killed. I don't actually mean murdered, but you know what I mean. And Io sort of like, again, like, claps her along, like, raises her hand up in the air, like, gets the crowd to start chanting for her, and gets her all fired up, and she's like, hugs Kairi, like, whispers something to her, and, you know, leaves the ring with Kairi. You know, just a motivational work from our friend Io, because Io has her ticket to WrestleMania punched, but she's got to try to get Kairi there now. And she's looking quite far away from WrestleMania right now, if I do say so myself. But then got backstage to the babyface locker room. Shark KO, the Machine Guns, and the Revolution are all in there preparing for the main event. And Randy Orton walks in, and he goes, "Boys, Alex, Chris, ahead of this match tonight, as, you know, the vet here on this team, I want to make sure that we ironed out any issues between us, because you see, over the past few weeks I've been a hardhead on my quest to become the World Heavyweight Champion, and I see now that that was all for nothing because I stand here without that championship. And I may have got a little frustrated." And they're like, "No, Randy, it's all good. You know, being a part of this industry for as long as we have, we've understood that, you know, coming out there in times like that when wrestlers are, you know, frustrated after losing a big championship match, we're bound to be in danger, putting our bodies in danger. You know, Randy, you've done a lot worse to other people in the past. You know, we can take one RKO. It's nothing." Randy goes, "Well, I don't know if it's nothing. It is the three most destructive, dangerous letters in all of wrestling. But, and then he goes, "Yeah, but, you know, we've taken plenty of RKOs in our day, and we're probably taking them much more now. You know, we can take as many RKOs as we want." And, like, Ricky Saints. Buster Gates, he sees this thing start escalating, goes, "Anyway, you guys are clearly still button heads and clearly still bitter that, you know, Randy hit an RKO and you hit this and you hit that. I don't really care. All I care about is tonight that my boys get their lick back. Okay, because my boys and myself have been at this Hurt Business thing for a long-ass time now. They kept us out of action for a long time, and now we're here, ready to revolutionize this revolution. So, I don't care who it is, if it's the Motor City Machine Guns or Shark KO, you're going to have to know one thing. Tonight's not about your personal differences. Tonight's about the revolution. And tonight the revolution doesn't just include myself. It doesn't just include Rufus or Nebo. It includes all of you. Because that revolution is this revolution of starting to take down the Hurt Business and end the reign of the almighty Bobby Lashley. So tonight, we need to stay on the same page. I don't care who RKOs who, as long as at the end of the day, one member of the Hurt Business or Pretty Deadly gets RKO'd and put in that damn mat. Okay? And they were like, "Yeah, sure, Ricky." Apart from Randy. Randy's like all quiet. And Buster's sort of like, "Look, I called him Ricky again. I knew this was going to happen. It's worse now he's actually in WWE than it was before we got here." They look at Buster. Randy looks at him. Or Buster looks at Randy and goes, "I said, are we okay?" Randy just laughs and goes, "Don't tell you what to do, kid. I'll do my own thing." And he walks off. And Ilya, you know, sort of like, just looks frustrated, like, "What the fuck, Randy? Come on." 68 rated match. A quick win for Oba Femi. He beats Brooks Jensen in 3 minutes and 9 by pinfall. 68 for Oba, 62 for Brooks. I haven't sent Brooks back down to NXT yet, but that will probably be his likely destination after, you know, the Max ML model stuff ended. But yeah. Quick win for Oba here tonight, just getting him a nice win. You know, keeping his momentum alive when out comes Big Bronson Reed. He goes, "Oba Femi the ruler. It seems things between you and I are coming to a head for this United States Championship, and I've been waiting for a guy like you. In fact, I've been waiting for exactly you, somebody that can test Big Bronson Reed. So I've been done talking to Adam Pearce, and I say, I can't wait. I can't be edged like this for much longer. We need to let these two big slabs of meat go at it for this championship. Next week, on SmackDown in Barcelona. It's going to be a United States Championship colossal clash of the Titans as Big Bronson Reed defends the championship against Oba Femi. Big pop. So yeah, we're finally starting our European tour, and starting with next week's SmackDown. So next week's Raw and ECW are in America, then we start on SmackDown the week after. You know, like real life, except I've got to add dates for the ECW shows, so I've got to find countries to go to in that meantime. But yes, Barcelona, Spain, SmackDown is the first stop on the European tour, and it will be Big Bronson Reed against Oba Femi for the United States Championship. We then got back. Kayla Braxton is with Cammy, and she says, "Cammy, at Roadblock we saw Utami Hashish overcome her latest threat, overcoming the odds against Shayna Baszler to retain the Women's World Championship, which now means that at WrestleMania it will be Utami defending the Women's World Championship." She goes, "Kayla, I know. I saw it. If you don't mind, I don't want to waste my time talking about her right now, because tonight is a big night for Japanese women's wrestling, and I'll explain all out in the ring later." And then, the interview sort of just stops as Candice sort of just walks past, and she stops in front of Cammy, sort of just turns and stares at her, and then just walks away. Cammy goes, "I think we finally broke that one, Kayla. We've physically broken Asuka, and we've mentally broken Candice. But yet people still defy me." Then Neville pops up on the screen. He goes, "Tick tock, gentlemen. The bastard is about to grace these pathetic sheep with a performance. But let's make it clear. Once that performance is over and the bastard's arm is raised in victory, I will be taking a microphone. And it will be Judgment Day for the new day. So fellas, people, get ready to say your goodbyes to one of the greatest factions of this generation. Because coming up very soon, they die." 90-raid match. Neville gets a victory over Baron Corbin, defeating him in 12 minutes and 10 with a red arrow. 93 for Neville, 89 for Corbin. So a good rating for Big Banter Baron. And Neville with the victory here tonight. But that's not the important thing about Neville's appearance here tonight, because he does, as he says, takes the microphone after the match. And he goes, "Time's up, gentlemen. It's time to meet your maker. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one last time for the new day." Out come the new day. Kofi and Big E, serious, but you can see they're still Kofi and Big E. Woods is completely out of it, his head's somewhere else. I imagine he's not even wearing matching clothes. Big E and Kofi wear the traditional New Day outfit. Woods is just wearing street clothes. And they all get into the ring. Woods stands in the middle, E and Kofi either side of him. And Neville just laughs. He goes, "Look at you. No titles in sight. No champions within this ragtag group of individuals. Xavier, look around you. Look at who you're standing with. The men who screwed you
out of being World Heavyweight Champion. And why was that? Now Big E and Kofi will tell you it was in the group's best interests, but is that so? Or were Big E and Kofi jealous of your success? Were Big E and Kofi making sure you didn't overshadow them the way that they did you time and time again when they were the champion? Are they really your brothers? Or are they wolves in sheep's clothing, ready to tear you down at a moment's notice? Now, I'm not telling you what to think. I'm merely presenting an alternate viewpoint to the way you and your friends may see each other. And Woods sort of like stops. He like stares at the floor. And like they turn around. He turns around and looks at Kofi and Woods. Oh, no, I keep saying Kofi and Woods. Kofi and Big E. Big E goes, "Come on, Woods. Don't listen to him, man. Just tell him he's full of crap." And then Woods finally grabs the mic and he goes, "Is he though? Is he full of crap, E? Or is he right?" And the crowd's like, "Oh." He goes, "The New Day for 11 years. Well, 10 years and however many months. So, yeah, just say 10 years. But 10 years has been about a brotherhood. It's been about positivity. Win, lose, or draw, we do it together. I finally became World Heavyweight Champion last year. Something that was a long goal of mine. I finally won my childhood dream of becoming King of the Ring. Something else that was a goal of mine. And yet, when it came time for my reign to be over, I didn't even get a say in the matter. Big E, you decided that my reign was as the World Heavyweight Champion was over. And it's because of you throwing in that damn towel that I'm not the World Heavyweight Champion heading into WrestleMania. The same event you and Kofi got your big crowning moments. I have to sit back again from the sidelines and watch other people fight for my championship because you decided I didn't deserve it anymore. Biggie goes, "Come on, Woods, it's not like that at all. We were protecting you." He goes, "You've said it before, E. I understand what I have to do. Neville has been looking out for me. He's been wanting what he believes is best for me. So, it's time. Kofi, E, all these years, I thought we were friends. I thought we were best friends. We were inseparable. But I've come to a realization recently." And he drops the microphone and he opens his arms out wide and he walks towards Neville. And he hugs Neville. And Biggie and Kofi look shocked. And then Xavier Woods drops Neville to a big pop. And he nails Neville with a big punch, sends him staggering outside the ring, and the crowd's going wild. Xavier Woods rips his shirt off or whatever, and he grabs the mic and he goes, "I realized that win, lose or draw, the New Day will not be broken. Try as you want, Neville, because people have tried and tried again. All I've heard over the years is, when's he gonna turn on you this? When's the New Day gonna break up? The answer, never. E, I don't appreciate what you did to me, but I understand why you did it. And I'll get my world championship back, and I'll bring you two along with me, because what the New Day win, they win together. When they lose together. And do you know why, Neville, that is? It's because New Day is forever. Big pop. Crowd shine, New Day rocks, New Day rocks. And Neville was up on the ramp. And he just starts chuckling to himself. And he goes, "You foolish, foolish man. I tried this the easy way, but you are too stupid and too naive to accept that. So now, we must do this the hard way. You have chosen your friendship, but I warned you all that defying me, well, you've chosen to court death." That's when the lights go out. And when they come back on, behind the New Day, like Neville's on the apron, but behind the New Day, stand two gentlemen in masks. You may know them as former AEW World Champion Penta and Rey Fenix. New Day turn around, Penta and Phoenix drop Big E and Kofi Kingston. Neville gets into the ring. He attacks Xavier Woods. He locks Xavier Woods in the Brutalizer and makes him watch as the Lucha Bros nail both Big E and Kofi with those assisted package power drivers. And then Neville just let's go. Woods leaves him laying on the floor. Stands side by side with the Lucha Bros. And yeah, they have courted death. I guess quite literally. Then cut back, we cut to ads after that, we cut back and Neville and the Lucha Bros are in the hallway. And Kayla Braxton runs out and goes, Neville, what on earth did we just see out there? He goes, what we just saw out there, Kayla, was a lesson to the weak, feeble-minded sheep here. I know what's best for Woods and for the New Day, but they continued to defy me and make me look like a fool. I will not be made to look like a fool, especially not by three idiots like the New Day. So I've got some gentlemen who I'm sure a lot of you already know, but some of you will be meeting for the very first time. This is Penta. This man is Rey Fenix. They are the Lucha Brothers. And now they are my brothers in arms. We are the Death Triangle. And we will court death for everybody who defies us, starting with the New Day. The promos just keep on coming, I guess. I didn't get a chance to breathe. Because Cammy's in the ring after that. And she goes, ladies and gentlemen, what a night Roadblock was. The Queen, the Women's World Champion, Utami Hayashishita, makes it again, defends the Women's World Championship against Shayna Baszler. She's going to WrestleMania to defend that Women's World Championship. But WrestleMania is sure going to be a great night. One of the biggest nights in the history of Japanese women's wrestling, with that main event, set to make history. But if I could take a serious moment of your time for a second and talk to you about another legendary Japanese women's professional wrestler, and that's Meiko Satomura. Now, Meiko, she's been around here on SmackDown for a while, and she sort of played a role of, looking after the division and being a good little soldier for the division. But Meiko, in her own right, is a trailblazer in Joshi wrestling. She's an icon in her own right. And, we're talking about John Cena's retirement, Daniel Bryan's upcoming retirement. Meiko herself is set to retire from professional wrestling this month. So, if you please do join me and welcome to the ring the legendary Meiko Satomura. And Meiko comes out with Aoi by her side. She goes, Meiko, you've been around for a long time, and I was wondering when you and I would get to share this ring again, because obviously, as an aficionado expert in your world, I understand exactly the sort of influence and icon and legend that you are. People don't know you. So, Meiko, with you, set to hang it up and retire soon, while still on top of your game, might I add, I figured it would be nice to, bring you out here and officially sanction this, changing of the guard around here, because a lot of people look at you as one of the greatest. But I don't mean any disrespect when I say this. I think your time has come and gone, and retiring at just the right time, because look around you, Meiko. Look at who's in the ring with you. The women's world champion, Utami Hayashishita, the beautiful Madness, Julia, Saya, Yoko. You're going to get eclipsed sooner rather than later by this generation of women's Japanese superstars, all influenced and headed up by me. But since I have such respect for you and everything you've done for this industry, here's my peace offering to you, Meiko. If you want to stay involved in wrestling and continue to influence the next generation of Japanese women's wrestlers, that you have this one, join us. Be our little hand. Be our good little trainer and influence entire generations of women who otherwise wouldn't have ever known the name Meiko Satomura, because your accomplishments will have been eclipsed by the likes of Julia, by the likes of Utami Hayashishita, by the likes of Yoko Uehara and Saya Kamitani. What do you say? Meiko still doesn't look at Cammy. She offers out a handshake. She takes the mic. She goes, I am retiring next month. But I will not help you. I will do my own thing. I want to go out a champion. And she sort of just turns to the Megasis. Cammy looks at her and goes, no. You can't be serious, right? You want to go out a champion? Don't you own your own promotion? You can go and book yourself to win championships over there. No, you want to fight the Megasis a month before you're set to hang it up because you're washed and you haven't got it anymore, because you're a has-been and a loser, and your legacy is going to get replaced sooner rather than later, and nobody will remember who the hell you are. You want to step into this ring and blow that all away for one shot to try and pop the crowd here in Springfield, Massachusetts? Is that MA? Yeah. Meiko goes, I want to challenge myself. She is a big challenge. Even though I'm retiring, there's still so much I'm yet to do. And that's win a singles championship here on SmackDown. And Cammy goes, oh, we're really doing this. Okay, well, Meiko, it's nothing personal. I respect the hell out of you and everything you've done for this industry, but I guess if you really want this lesson, I guess ring the bell. So yeah, Megasis against Meiko Satomura gets an 81. Megasis makes defense number 8 of the Women's Championship, or Women's Limited Championship. Fates to set. Actually, good rating. I'm glad, because that in my mind means the crowd got behind Meiko here. So, like, even though she's not really done much on SmackDown, they can see that, like, oh, she's retiring. She wants to win this championship. It's an easy story to tell, big, monster, young woman against elderly, well, not elderly, but retiring, veteran, icon. And, yeah, Megasis does put her down in what could end up being Mako's final match here on SmackDown. 79 for the Megasis, 56 for Mako. And after the match, the Queen of Omega goes, get back in the ring. Cammy takes the microphone back again. She goes, that was sad. You know, as I said before, Mako Satomura is a legend, so it's really sad to see her go out so pathetic. But hey, she asked for it. Mako, your time has come and gone. You're like the old head of the pack. The old head of the pride. That's finally getting too old to go out and hunt by himself. So now has to get put down and replaced by young blood. You know, Utami is like a queen bee. And there's a little fact about bees that but when a hive has their queen, occasionally a new queen will enter the hive. And this queen and the old queen, you know, they butt heads, but there can only be one queen of the hive. So at that point, the old queen who's washed up, the old queen who hasn't got it anymore, has two options. She can either fled to a new hive, form her own new hive elsewhere, or her and her replacement, her and the new queen, can fight to the death until there's only one ruler of this hive. Old, washed up queen, don't say we didn't give you the opportunity to go and find a new hive. I warned you as far back as the Royal Rumble itself what would happen if you made this decision. But you did it anyway. You decided that you wanted to end Queendom Omega once and for all, even though it's your damn reasoning why we're so powerful in the first place. So you've chosen fight to the death. Can't say it's not brave. Can't say it's not confident. Can't definitely say it's stupid. Because the women's world champion, the heir apparent, now reigning Omega Queen, is better at everything than you were. She's stronger than you. She's tougher than you. And we're more powerful with her than we were with you. And you're off helping poor little Kairi, who we've broken to the point where she doesn't even want to be here anymore. If you haven't seen what's happened mentally to Kairi, mentally to Dakota Kai, mentally for Candice LeRae, physically to Asuka, physically to Ember Moon. And yet here you are, the savior of SmackDown. The great hero is the same great tyrant who ruled this place with an iron fist not 12 months ago. So, Queenie, my queen, my beloved queen, next week in Barcelona, I'll be standing in this ring to kick off the night. Because I can only say so much to dead air while you're back there licking Kairi's wounds for her and trying to prep her up to get beat by the Megasis again. Because you don't care if Kairi gets the job done. You only care about yourself. You always have. Hence why Mako Satomura, a legend, an icon, someone you looked up to, is out here tonight. And where are you? Oh no, you made sure you got yourself a match and you made sure you got yourself a victory. So next week, me and you, Utami, we'll see you in this ring. And we'll make sure WrestleMania is a night you won't ever be able to forget.
Angels call my name, but the things you open my heart. It's never easy. Falling in love again. Falling in love. It's never easy. Falling in love again.
Next week, you did just hear it there, we are kicking off the European tour next week in Barcelona. And we've got a pretty stacked show, including, as we've just now learned, the Lucha Bros, Penta and Rey Fenix, will make their debut on next week's episode of SmackDown. Yep. They aligned with Neville to form some sort of death triangle here tonight. And let's see what they can do in their debut match next week. Plus, championship action. As Big Bronson Reed and Oba Femi, the ring will have to be reinforced, I'm sure of it, for that one next week as they go one-on-one for the United States Championship, and signed off just now following, the situation with Meiko Satomura and Queen Omega tonight. Aoi Maikawa, Meiko's protege, wants to get into the ring with a member of Queendom Omega, and she'll face off with Julia on next week's SmackDown. Plus, the Women's World Champion Utami Hayashishita along with Cammy face-to-face with their WrestleMania opponent, the Royal Rumble winner Io Sky. All that and a whole lot more as we kick off the European tour on the road to WrestleMania next week in Barcelona. Then cut to the ring. And before the main event starts, the Hurt Business, MVP has a mic. And he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, before you get into your weekly dose of hurting people, I have something that's been nagging me for almost a week now. You see, a lot of people are walking around here thinking the almighty Bobby Lashley is an afterthought. It started back at Roadblock when the almighty Bobby Lashley's name, his WrestleMania opportunity, his WrestleMania World Championship defense was used as a punchline by Seth Rollins. So now, Seth, congratulations on getting the match you wanted, Seth. But, make sure to keep the almighty Bobby Lashley's name out of your mouth next time, because you don't want any of this smoke, and even teasing such a thing was a stupid idea, because it made people realize you're going to get your ass beat. Then there's Jacob Fatu, this big tough guy, walking around here. He's gone face to face, nose to nose with the almighty a couple of times, gets his chance to become the world champion at WrestleMania. What does he do? He picks ECW. He picks Warden. And that leaves the almighty Bobby Lashley without an opponent. It's not because the almighty Bobby Lashley's championship isn't in high demand. No, sir. It's because these people, Warden and Seth, are scared of the almighty Bobby Lashley. Nobody wants him to be their WrestleMania opponent because they know how it's going to end. So, before the Hurt Business do their thing tonight, allow this to be a message to whoever it may be that ends up challenging Bobby Lashley for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. You're signing your own death wish. Sure, being in a World Championship match at WrestleMania feels like the stuff you dream of when you're a kid. But the reality of it is it's going to be the most painful day of your life, courtesy of the almighty Bobby Lashley. Some pretty deadly come out. Goes Montel. Sorry, mate. Yes, boy. Before we get to this match where your guys and us are gonna, destroy that tag team we're up against, we thought we'd just come out here and, say some words too, because we agree with you that anybody choosing to wrestle Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania would be a fool. But that's where Pretty Deadly come in. You see, we are also being the victims of a conspiracy here in WWE, and we've been robbed time and time again of our championship opportunities that we've deserved. So, Montel, if you want us to join the Hurt Business and represent the Hurt Business in our tag team championship match at WrestleMania when we end up getting it, you're welcome to offer the card right now. And they sort of gesture to MVP to give him a business card, and he goes, What are your dumb asses doing? Sure, we're teaming tonight, but we don't like you. In fact, you repulse us. In fact, you want to talk about tag teams? Well, maybe Ronnie Hughes and Damon Kemp want those tag team championships, huh? Maybe we'll go through anybody, and that includes you, to get them. But as for tonight, just stand on that apron and don't get in the almighty Bobby Lashley's way. 91 rated main event. I can't do 6v6s on TEW, so it's got to be 5v5, but Rufus and Damon Kemp are in the match too. I just can't put them on screen. But the babyface team do win. Ilya Dragunov pinning Ronnie Hughes with an H-bomb in 15-15. 83 for Kit, 74 for Elton, 75 for Ronnie, 93 for Ricochet, 83 for Lashley, 77 for Nebo, 58 for Sabin, 67 for Shelley, 81 for Ilya, and a 75 for Randy. So yeah, nice little main event. And that closes out SmackDown. A lot of talking on this show, but, you know, we're on the road to WrestleMania now. We've got to get shit rolling. Gets an 87. That's pretty good. All matters more, though, is what you thought of the show. Do leave in the comments below. And I'll see you on the other side for Velocity. Velocity actually kicks off with a promo this week. It's from Mustafa Ali. He comes to the ring. And he goes, "Sup, Springfield. You know, last week was almost a great night for Mustafa Ali. Because I almost became the Cruiserweight Champion. This championship has been a championship that I've been chasing for almost 10 years now, since I first came into WWE as part of the Cruiserweight Classic in 2016. And it's always been slipped through my grasp. And last week, I had the chance to finally become the champion again, running it back with my old rival, my old heart to my soul, Cedric Alexander. Now, Cedric, what you did last week, I should be annoyed at you, but I'm kind of proud that you finally did it. You finally realized what you had to do to get this championship and keep it. So, Cedric, come on out here and shake my hand as I show you respect for what you did last week. Instead of Cedric, out comes Johnny Gargano. And he goes, "Ali, you're a guy who I kind of respect in that locker room. You're one of the veterans here in the locker room, and I think that you're a great guiding light to any cruiserweight back there who wants to become the champion, but come on now. I understand that over the past few years, and more so recently, you've sort of let your morals go and become more of a scumbag. But to come out here and show respect to a man who screwed you out of a championship, are you even a champion? Are you really a competitor here in WWE if you're going to take that lying down?" And he goes, "Johnny, like I said, I should be frustrated. I'm just so proud of Cedric. All I ever wanted was this side of Cedric, and to finally see this side of Cedric, it means more to me than any championship could mean." And Johnny goes, "Okay, so what you're saying is you wouldn't mind if somebody else came out here and cut in line to be the next shot of the Cruiserweight Championship if it's not you." Now he goes, "If you want a shot of the Cruiserweight Championship, Cedric Alexander is no easy challenge. Okay, Cedric Alexander is mean. He's learnt what it takes to be a champion around here, and I can't help but feel like I had a hand in figuring that out for him." And Cedric does come out and he goes, "Thank you, Ali, but I can speak for myself. Yo, Johnny, I didn't expect to see you out here tonight, you know. Is your wife finally giving you permission, you know, to do your own thing around here? Or are you still running around being a little errand boy? You know, you got your own little family issues right now. Should you want to be worrying about them over being Cruiserweight Champion, Johnny? Surely that's not healthy for you. But no matter, Johnny, if you want to come out here and run your mouth, I don't mind defending the championship against you, but you've got to earn it first. So tonight, you go one-on-one with Mustafa Ali. And if you can beat Mustafa Ali, then I'll give you an opportunity at my Cruiserweight Championship in 2 weeks' time in Bologna. So yeah, that's our main event for tonight. Mustafa Ali against Johnny Gargano. If Gargano wins, he gets the next shot of the Cruiserweight Championship. AU2 rated 6-man tag. LA Extreme defeat Angelico, Joaquin, and Cruz. Jorge submitting Cruz del Toro in 14-20. 75 for Jorge, 71 for Santos, 88 for Rush, 60 for Cruz, 72 for Joaquin, and 64 for Angelico. So yeah, next week in Barcelona, they will defend the Trios Championships against the Undisputed Era. So just a nice little win for our champions here tonight ahead of that big championship match next week. 75, that's pretty good too. David Martin, our speed champion. You know, he goes longer than 5 minutes here because it's not a title match, but he does take his sweet ass time defeating Star Black. He submits him with the Arc of Triumph in 10-16. 76 for David Martin, 56 for Star Black. Then after the match, out comes Dudley. He goes, "You know something, David? You've been running your mouth for a long time now, saying you're better than every luchador you've ever stepped into the ring with, saying you're better than every strong style Japanese NXT Japan superstar you've stepped into the ring with. And then you said something that made me laugh. You said you were the king of the British style. When I invented British strong style. British strong style exists because of me, because of Pete, because of Trent. So how about it, David? If you want to prove you're the greatest British wrestling export here on Velocity, and I'm owed that match for your Speed Championship, let's run it in 3 weeks. Velocity in London. You and me for that Speed Championship. David Martin, of course, does accept. So that is set for the Velocity show in London. It will be on the 28th of March, yeah. Dudley Davis challenges David Martin for the Speed Championship. And a 91 rated main event. Johnny Gargano does manage to defeat Mustafa Ali. Cedric Alexander is out there and he accidentally hits Ali, fucks him over by accident. And Gargano does submit him with the Gargano escape. I guess pins him because I don't really want him to tap out. We've had a lot of submissions on the show apparently. But yeah, Gargano does pick up the win thanks to some botched interference by Cedric Alexander. So he will face Cedric in 2 weeks in Bologna for the Cruiserweight. That's actually a title match set for every episode of Velocity in the International show. We've got the Barcelona next week with the Trios Championship match. We then got Bologna the week after that with Johnny versus Cedric. And we have Dudley versus David in London the following week for the Speed title. Not exactly the same caliber as the other two, but you know, it's two Brits, so yeah. 91 for Gargano, 92 for Mustafa Ali, by the way. And that ends Velocity. Gets us an 84. Sure, we'll take that. What matters more is what you thought of the show, mainly of SmackDown. And I'll see you next time for Raw in Madison Square Garden, which will feature Daniel Bryan versus Ludwig Kaiser. It will feature John Cena hosting an open challenge. And it will feature Becky Stardust, the celebration of life. See you then.